Hey, good afternoon. It's Pam from Coach Pam Fitness. And as you can tell, today is Friday. Woohoo! And it's been a cleaning day, so I apologize for how I look, but some days you just can't look that fabulous, right? Anyway, today we've been talking about, this past week we've been talking about teen discipline and how to get your teen to listen, be respectful, polite, and discipline appropriately. For the most part, our talk has been about negative discipline, having negative consequences for negative behavior or for breaking the rules. But discipline should not strictly be looked at as a negative consequence for a negative behavior or strictly trying to correct a bad behavior. A lot of times, instilling, in my experience with my teens and preteens, instilling only punishment for bad behavior has a real negative effect on their self-confidence, and they think to themselves, at least my teen thinks to himself, that why bother? He can't do anything right anyway because all he's going to do is get yelled at or punished or whatever. So part of keeping an open dialogue, keeping a positive relationship with your teen is not only to have consequences for bad behavior, but to also reward the positives. And part of discipline should be rewarding positive behaviors and reinforce those positive behaviors so that your teen has a greater respect for the world around them and gets a better idea that the world all around is strictly not going to be negative all the time. There are positives to good behavior. In that simple reward system for catching them at good behavior seems to me has a much greater impact on a teen than constantly being negative and berating them and disciplining them for bad behavior. Teens want to have more freedom. They want to be more independent in where they go and what they do. And this is where the reward system comes into play and where it makes the biggest impact. As a parent, you're the one that hands out the discipline and the rewards. So, and I want to be clear, this is not about bribing your child. Bribing can work in certain instances. I've been known to bribe my children to get them to take more time off their swim events. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it pushes them to do a little bit better if it's something they really are wanting. But rewarding for good behavior is not about bribing or buying an expensive video game or a pair of jeans if your daughter wants jeans or whatever. It's about offering praise and helping them establish confidence in themselves. So have a discussion with your teen about what kind of reward system they would like, what kind of punishment they would like, and what kind of privileges they would like to have or get taken away if they exhibit good behavior. That's crucial because if it's something that they are not interested in anyway, they're not going to have good behavior. And if it's something they're not interested in and you have to discipline them with punishment, taking away that item that is not important to them is not going to matter anyway. So always important to sit down with your teen and have an open discussion and talk to them about appropriate rewards and appropriate privileges being taken away for good and bad behavior. And you also don't want to just reward, say your child brings home an A in math. Well, my kids are pretty much straight A students anyway, so rewarding them for that doesn't mean much because that's expected of them anyway. So it needs to be, you need to catch them at a good behavior that is something out of the blue. For example, a few weeks ago I wasn't feeling well and my 16-year-old took it upon himself to entertain his younger brother so that I could get a little bit of rest. That was beautiful. I didn't have anybody coming in to bother me, and I could rest for a half hour. And I didn't even have to ask them. That's where you need to reward them. That's where you need to say, you need to praise them with words and be appreciative and grateful for anything that they do that's out of the ordinary. That's a good behavior. So say on occasion my kids will bring their own dishes into the kitchen and put them in the dishwasher. That's when I praise them, because while yes, that is expected of them, they don't do it. They could care less about dishes. So when they bring their dishes in, I am extremely grateful. And I reward them with praise, not with things, because that's part of their job, but with praise. I say, thank you so much for bringing your dishes in. I really appreciate it. Can we please do that more often? Say, for example, they unload the dishwasher without being prompted. Then that's perfect example of where you would say, thank you so much for doing that for me. I didn't even have to ask you, and I really appreciate it, because now I can really focus on getting dinner on the table before we have to do X, Y, and Z. So instead of after dinner, instead of you doing the dishes, why don't you go ahead and play video games for a half hour? Or boys, I have 2 boys, that's all they care about is video games. That's how you reward good behavior. That's how you reward catching them at good behavior. It's not doing something that they're always expected to do. And my kids aren't always expected to unload the dishwasher, but I do ask them on occasion, and it's nice when they actually do it without me asking. Because remember, you as the parent have the power to dole out the privileges and take away the privileges according to the appropriate behavior. Sometimes my kids fight like cats and dogs. When they do, video games get taken away because they're not nice to each other. So why would they be allowed to play video games if they're not being nice to each other? That kind of thing. Failing to brush teeth at night. That's a huge one in our house. If you saw my last, I think it was like 2 blogs ago, as a daughter of a dental hygienist, teeth are super important to me. So if you don't brush your teeth at night, you get half hour taken away from video games. And that's what you need to work out with your own family. What's important and what's not important. And I have reward charts or contracts, not charts, they're too old for charts. Reward contracts. I have a curfew contract, which right now he's not driving, so we don't use it, but when he starts driving, you can bet your booty I'll be using that one. There's a general behavior contract that I like, and then there's just a regular behavior contract for teens and tweens. We sit down and we talk about it. That's the way that you help them understand the value of being disciplined positively or negatively. So remember that it's your job to be a parent and to teach them how to think through the behavior that they're thinking about to find out if it's negative or positive. And it's your job to help them learn how to behave properly. It's not your job to be their friend. At this point in their lives, they don't need you as a friend. They need you as a parent and a positive role model. Friends can come down when they're adults. My mom is my best friend. That's when friendship with your kids comes into play, not as a teenager. The teenager needs you to be the adult and the parent. And they really need help navigating these rocky teen years. So that's my thoughts, my teen blog, and this has helped me tremendously with my teen and tween. So I hope that it helps you navigate your teen's rocky road of life. And if you find this live video or the blog that's going to accompany it, if you find it helpful or you know someone who it might help, please feel free to share it. We're all about helping. Coach Pam Fitness is a community of helping people be better and become better and helping the world be a better place. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to my lives every day, and thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to listen. Hope you have a fabulous weekend, and remember to be a positive influence in your teens' lives. They need it. Have a great evening.